Okay, YouTubers, we're gonna try this again. This is about the third, fourth time I've tried to do this video. Trying to coordinate multi-camera. Have a little bit of cinematography going on here today. Maybe either that or I'm just showing off my new iPhone. I just bought an iPhone 8. iPhone X is too big. I don't know who has gorilla hands enough to use an iPhone X, but it's not me. Or sorry, the 10. Sorry. But anyway, enough about iPhones. I have now been driving my 2013 Chevy Volt for 6 months. So far, it's been doing fairly well. To go ahead and get the big headline out of the way, I actually did, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, have to put gasoline in it. I had been far enough on some trips that I was actually going to run out of gas. My wife remarked to me, I told her I needed to stop and get gas before I left. She said, "You need gas, where have you been?" I had to think a minute. Because when you haven't filled the car up since May, and it's now November, it's kind of hard to recall everywhere you've been in those last few months. But I did have to put gas in it. I made it 4,400 miles, a little over 4,400 miles on that single tank of gas. Well over 500 miles to the gallon, not counting electricity, of course. But I made it all that way. Most days I didn't use electricity. However, now, most days I just used electricity. I didn't use any gasoline at all. However, it is now November, which means it has started to get cold. And that has begun to do some things to the electric range. Now, partly, I will admit, it is my own fault. The Volt has a setting in the climate control system to where you can decide if you want to run the gasoline engine to generate heat. I, however, since I am driving an electric car, don't think I should be using gas to generate heat. I should just be able to use electricity, which is fine. However, the electric heater loves it some battery. It will suck down battery faster than anything else in this car. So it happened the other day. I drove to work, up in the morning, happened the other day. I got up in the morning, preconditioned the car because it was a little cold out. So I was like, I'm at home, I'm plugged into my 240 volt, I'll precondition. So I preconditioned, I started using some battery. 240 volt is not fast enough to dump as much charge into the battery as you're using to charge it. So then I drove to work, parked it, drove home, stopped at the grocery, so I maybe went out of my way maybe a mile, but that also necessitated I use the interstate, which was relatively clear, so I was moving at a good clip. And that interstate drive home is up what we call the cut. It's up a very steep slope for a little significant portion, so that kills battery. And it turned out I didn't actually make it home on electricity. I actually had the gas engine fire up for the last mile. I used, according to the computer, I used 4 100ths, not tenths, 100ths of a gallon. So, negligible usage, but it still did turn on. I was running the gasoline engine. I did not make it home on electric. So, it's made me start to wonder a little bit. Now today, as you can see, I actually I went in early to the gym, charged on the 240 volt almost to full. So now today here I'll be fine. But It's made me start to wonder how close I'm going to cut it. If I don't precondition at all, will I be okay? I think I'm okay then. There is, however, another wrinkle. I have actually purchased a set of winter tires for this car. I bought a new set of rims and a set of Michelin X Ice winter tires. They aren't on the car currently because it hasn't gotten cold enough consistently enough that I think to justify putting them on. There's been no snow in the forecast. So they're still on the rack in my garage. I have not actually put them on the car. And I've read that when you put those tires on, these are, even though those X-Ice tires, they are low rolling resistance. They've got, I don't know what they call, what Michelin calls their low rolling resistance, if it's Green X or EcoFocus, or I forget what exactly they call it. However, I have been told that you will take 10 to 15% range hit when you switch over to winter tires. So I'm kind of wondering what that's going to do. At the end of the summer, my estimated range, I had gotten it on some mornings, I could get it up to 42. Here lately, I've been coming out to the car and it's been 30. So that has been a significant range loss. Now, could I mitigate it if I just ran the engine for some cabin heat? Probably, but again, that seems to defeat the purpose of having a hybrid car. I wanted a plug-in to just use electricity. So, I don't know, we'll see. By the time the next update comes, it will certainly be cold enough, consistently enough, maybe even some snow will have fallen, that I will have slapped on the winter tires, and we'll see what that does to the range too. Now again, I'm still getting fantastic gas mileage. I mean, I went to and from work on 4 100ths of a gallon that day. So, you know, that's Prius beating range anytime you want to do the math. But again, I wanted to get back and forth just on pure electricity. That's been sort of the range report, the electricity usage report. The only other than that, the car is functioning pretty well, except for the climate control system. I have not figured out the best way to run this climate control system, I think. And I think the problem is related to the eco mode. Now, the way this climate control system works, you can run it in comfort, where it'll just devote all power to the heat, the air conditioning, whatever, or you can run it in eco mode, where it cools it down a little bit less. It doesn't run the fans as much. And you can see, like right now, we're about at, I have it set to 74. It's 49 degrees outside. The car has pretty much come up to temperature, so now it's just running 30%. Now, if I swap it over to comfort, instantly it jumps to 49%. So the half the power this car is using, now 51, is being devoted to the climate control. So that's a lot. That's a lot, and it kind of brings it back home of how much power you use to just heat this car. You know, now I do like the fact that the heated seats are actually tied into the climate control system. It is actually much more efficient to run the heated seats than it is to try and heat the entire cabin. So both heated seats are tied into the climate control, and they will turn on and off as the computer thinks they need to be. They are neat in the where when you turn it on, they will sense whether someone's in the seat, and if someone's in the seat, they will kick on. If not, they won't. Which is fine, except for when I sit down in the car and I go ahead and turn the car on while my wife is still buckling our daughter in the car. My wife hasn't sat down in the car yet, so her heated seat doesn't kick on because the car started and she wasn't in it. So there's that. The other annoying thing, and I feel like this is related to the climate control system, particularly when you run it in eco mode, because it's not putting out that much air through the vents. There is almost a permanent layer of fog that exists on this windshield, and it is very difficult to get rid of. Now, if you run the heat, that will burn it off. If you run the defrost, that'll burn it off. But like right now, you can't really see it until a light shines. So like the sunlight's coming in on the windshield right now, and I can just see this little fog that seems to sort of permanently exist on the inside of the glass that I can't get rid of. So if I kick it over to defrost, that'll clear it. So it's not that bad during the day. It is pretty terrible at night, because of course every headlight coming at you reflects right in the windshield and highlights the fog that is on the inside of the glass. In an effort to alleviate this, I had an old bottle of Rain-X Anti-Fog. It's supposed to be this stuff, you just spray it on the inside of the glass and it'll prevent things from fogging up. I don't think that works too well, so I will not give that product my ringing endorsement. So other than that, I mean, the car is functioning pretty well. I am starting, like I said, I am starting to have the range anxiety of wanting to get home to and from work strictly on the battery and not use any gasoline. I was fine in spring and summer, but now here in winter we're starting to see that change a little bit. Will it continue? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe if I figure out a process that will allow me to do that. So it'll definitely be no preconditioning. So don't precondition the car. Maybe turn the climate control down. Make sure it never leaves eco mode. Keep it in. Don't put it in comfort. So that will kill the battery. I don't know. As an experiment, I may try and let the gas engine run to generate heat just to see what it does. But again, that kind of defeats the purpose of being in a plug-in car. I bought something with enough range to get me to and from work without using the gasoline engine. At least I thought I did. So other than that, you know, I am liking the car. It's comfortable. It is quiet still. Haven't had any problems with it at this point. Hopefully that continues. So that's all for now. So like I said, next time I update, the winter tires will be on the car. We'll see how they do. I think the tires will be good. I'm just not, again, I'm not sure what it's going to do to the range. Hopefully it won't be too bad a hit. We'll see.